Yo. Yo. Dropping frame for some reason. Might have to get that figured out. But anyway, welcome to the show. This is My Political Mind. Welcome, my fellow political minds. Today is going to be a little different. Not really. I'm going to do another test today. Looks like I'm dropping some frames. I might need to try and fix this issue before we move along. I'm not sure exactly why I would be dropping frames. But it appears that I am, and I don't know what to do about that. So, I'm trying to see if I can configure this now that I've already started. Now, I'm not sure if it's the new webcam that I got. I got me a new camera for my birthday from my fiance. She's a real MVP. Picture's not as clear as before I started streaming also, so I'm not exactly sure what's up with that. But hey, let's not let it hinder the show. Let's I'm gonna get right into it here in just a sec. I've got to make one more adjustment. And there we go. So, once again, welcome to My Political Mind. Today, I am going to be taking the left values test. So today, basically, we're going to see how much of a rebel I really am. Or at least according to this one test. Sorry, let me adjust this real quick. Try to get this up here a little closer. All right. So let's head on over to the test. And there it is, the left values test. Now, Left Values is a leftist quiz inspired by and based upon the 8 values quiz that seeks to identify your position on the left-wing spectrum. So this is specifically for lefties. If you're not a leftist, this quiz is obviously not suited for you. There you go. You will be presented with a statement, and then you will answer with your opinion on the statement, from strongly agree to strongly disagree, with each answer slightly affecting your scores. The questions for each axis are presented in order rather than scattered. At the end of the quiz, your answers will be compared to the maximum possible for each value, thus giving you a percentage. Answer honestly. I'm going to try. So, what are the values? I think we can, we can go over this. I believe that's at the end of the quiz. I've already gone through 12 of these questions. And they are pretty pretty radical. So we'll just see how this goes. So let's go ahead and get it started. Yeah, I got it. Question number 1. Reforming capitalist society to achieve better rights for workers is desirable. Reforming capitalist society to achieve better rights for workers is desirable. I'm going to soft agree on that. So let me see if I take off the stream. Maybe that'll help clear it up. I don't know. We'll find out. Revolution is the best way of achieving a socialist society. I mean, if you're trying to achieve a socialist society, I believe revolution is the only way, but the question is whether or not violent revolution is the question. Revolution is the best way of achieving a socialist society. I mean, what is it? Political revolution? I mean, I guess the only way to really achieve any type of society is through some type of revolution, or I mean, I guess incremental change can help. Revolution. I'm gonna soft disagree on that. I don't think you have to have revolution. Let's see here. The negative consequences of a revolution generally outweigh the advantages. The negative generally? No, I think every time there's been a revolution, society has advanced in some shape or form. So I'm not sure of like every revolution in history, but definitely American revolutions have had great advantages and great outcomes. Generally outweigh the advantages. I'm a soft disagree on that. Liberal democracy is a viable way of achieving a socialist society. I mean, it is a viable way. Yeah, I'll soft agree on that. A socialist revolution is made inevitable by the conditions of capitalism. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. Inevitable? Nah, I'm gonna go neutral. Workplace democracy within capitalism is an acceptable alternative to a complete socialization of the economy. Within capitalism is an acceptable alternative to a complete socialization of the economy. So, workplace democracy, as in voting for like new things within your workplace, new rights, pay, voting for your leaders. Workplace democracy within capitalism is an acceptable alternative to a complete socialization of the economy. Acceptable? Yes. Yeah, I'm going to strongly agree on that one. Revolutionary violence is acceptable as long as the final outcome is positive. Now, I personally would prefer nonviolent revolution. However, the word is it acceptable as long as the final outcome is positive? Well, many would argue that the American Revolution, where we fought off the British, had a positive outcome. And I think it's pretty acceptable, so I'm strongly agree. Redistributing wealth away from the wealthy through taxes is a viable way of defeating inequality. Sorry, inequity. I almost said inequity. Redistributing wealth away from the wealthy through taxes is a viable way of defeating inequality. Yeah, strongly agree. Modern social democracy is a betrayal of left-wing values. I'm going to strongly disagree. Oppressed peoples have the right to engage in a violent uprising when all other options have been exhausted. Oppressed peoples have the right to engage in a violent uprising when all other options have been exhausted. I mean, all other options have been exhausted, so there's only one way for oppressed people to become unoppressed. They've got to fight for it, so strongly agree. The means of production, such as factories and farms, must be publicly owned. I'd soft disagree. Material conditions and needs are the dominant drive behind socioeconomic changes. Material conditions and needs. Dominant drive behind socioeconomic changes. I don't know. what's the difference? What is material? What is the other one? Are the dominant drive behind socioeconomic changes? I mean, actually, yes. I think I strongly agree. I'm a soft agree. Socialism can only be fully achieved in developed industrialized societies. Well, I know that in order, that one is like I've thought about this before and I'm just unsure on it, so I'm just going to go ahead and say that. From each according to his ability to each according to his needs is a good principle. I am still diving into that as well. It is possible to, I know that is like straight up Marxist, communism. So, but yeah, I'm just going to go unsure. It is possible to peacefully convince the ruling class to conform to a socialist society. Highly, highly unlikely. Strongly disagree. Capitalism will induce its own demise through contradictions that result in crisis. Oh man, I'm just not one of these blowhards on the left. That will just say that capitalism is this all evil. Of course, they don't really necessarily say it's evil. They just say, like, in terms of morality, you go from mercantile capitalism to laissez-faire capitalism to, social democracy to socialism to communism. It's like a build up. You reach to a certain point. That's what the argument is anyway. Capitalism will induce its own demise through contradictions that result in crisis. I'm gonna soft disagree on that one. Capitalism won't just naturally. I mean, it can naturally fail, but that doesn't mean that it necessarily will. So, disagree. Class conflict is a force that has influenced much of human history. Obviously, yes. Strongly agree. The establishment of socialism is a gradual process rather than an instant or rapid one. It depends. It doesn't have to be, I'm going to go neutral, but it doesn't have, it can be gradual. It's probably preferred to be gradual. See, I know like some hardcore revolutionaries would be like, no, it's got to be instant. It's got to be rapid. Got to do it quick. We must seize. Seizure. Oh my God. ESPN. I thought I turned off my notification. Sorry. The views here do not express ESPN or Memphis. The University of Memphis. I just gotta say that. Or Star Wars. Whatever. The establishment of socialism is a gradual process. Rather than an instant. Society is chiefly driven by individuals and ideas. Well, individuals. So this is like, well, it says society. I mean, does that mean no collective ideas? I mean, our current society is driven by individuals and ideas. I'm a soft disagree on that. Total economic and social equality is realistically possible to achieve. What total economic and social equality is realistically possible to achieve? Is this speaking on equality of opportunity or equality of outcome? Because there's two different answers to that. Total economic and social equality is realistically possible to achieve. I think equality of opportunity is realistic. I don't think that equality of outcome is realistic. So I gotta go unsure on that one. No, they didn't specify. An economy is generally designed better when it is organized bottom up rather than top down. Somewhere in the middle. I'm going to soft agree on that one. I think more of a lower middle and out approach would be better, but you know, local planners rather than national planners are more efficient at running a planned economy. Probably because you know the area better. Than if, like, this is more micro. I think people just do better in a micro sense than in a macro sense. So I'm going to soft agree. A centrally planned economy based around computers is a concept worth investigating. I mean, worth investigating? I mean, sure. Why not? In underdeveloped societies, a centrally planned economy is the best way to make rapid progress. Centrally planned economy is the best way to make rapid progress. See, they make these are just things I don't like think about ever. So I think capitalism usually helps you make a rapid progress. Yeah, I'm gonna disagree. The principles of workplace democracy and self-management are desirable. And self-management. Yeah. The state can be best defined as a monopoly on violence and oppression. Yes. A highly centralized planned economy is not socialism, but rather state capitalism. A highly centralized planned economy is not socialism, but rather state capitalism. Planned economy. Well, state capitalism. A highly centralized planned economy is not socialism, but rather state capitalism. Honestly, I'm unsure on that. Bureaucracy and inefficiency. I can't wait. I kind of want to go back and go through these again, especially the ones that I'm having trouble with, so that I can make my brain bigger on some of these issues. So let's see. Bureaucracy and inefficiency are always inherent in centrally planned economies. I'm a soft disagree. It is necessary to establish a dictatorship of the proletariat as a transitionary stage between capitalism and socialism. Oh boy. It is necessary? I forget what this is called. There's like a specific type of name for this. I think it's called a proletariat dictatorship, actually. A proldic. It is necessary to establish a dictatorship. I don't think it's necessary. Strongly disagree. The government should be capable of assigning individuals to workplaces. Assigning? No, strongly disagree. A world socialist republic is a realistic and desirable goal. Realistic? I don't know. Desirable? Yeah. Nationalism and patriotism are impulses that are unacceptable in a socialist society. Hold on, sorry. What is your issue over here, bro? My stream quality is good now. Wasn't so great at first. I don't understand. Alright, sorry. Nationalism and patriotism are impulses that are unacceptable in a socialist society. Soft disagree. The local socialist movement should be led by a single party or organization. No. Foreign officials have no right to dictate policy in another country. True. No. They shouldn't be able to. It's our country. Open borders between like-minded socialist countries is desirable. Yeah? I mean, it would be desirable. Any socialist country should be dedicated to exporting their ideology abroad. Yeah. People of similar cultures should unite in federations or confederations. Disagree. The international proletariat belongs to no country. No. No? No. Only did soft no because we can, but no. National liberation or self-determination for all peoples is a good concept. Agree. National liberation or self-determination for all peoples. Strongly agree. I would be willing to sacrifice economic resources in my home country in order to help other countries. Yeah, I would. Sorry. Humanitarian, for the most part. Socialist political parties should participate in liberal democratic elections. Yeah, they should. Everything should be done democratically. Trade unions and workers' councils should form the basis of a socialist society. Yeah. Yeah, the basis, yeah. Strongly agree. The leadership of political parties and the progression towards socialism will always lead to authoritarianism. The leadership? I'm not quite sure on that one. The leadership of political parties and the progression towards socialism will always lead to authoritarianism. I don't think so. Soft disagree. Democratic centralism is an authoritarian organizational structure that disregards the masses. Democratic centralism. I don't even know. Some people would say yes. Wait, democratic what? Centralism? The Leninist organizational system in which policy is decided centrally and is binding on all members. Is a practice in which political decisions reached by voting processes are binding upon all members of the political party, although mainly associated with Leninism, wherein the party's political vanguard, composed of professional revolutionaries, practiced democratic centralism to elect leaders and officers, as well as to determine policy through free discussion, then decisively realized through united action. Democratic centralism has also been practiced by social democratic parties. Authoritarian organizational structure. I don't know. No. Only a mass workers' party can achieve any meaningful long-term goals. I mean, yeah, it'd be it would definitely help. Mass spontaneous actions are more effective than carefully planned actions. There's got to be some kind of planning. You can't just be like just going crazy and then expect change. People got to know what you want. So, got to go with the planned. Disagree. The fact that so many workers vote for bourgeoisie parties over socialist parties is proof that party politics are no longer relevant. It's not that they're no longer relevant. It's just that, we need a class awakening. We need class realism. People need to wake up and see that their class is getting shafted. So many workers vote for bourgeois parties over socialist parties is proof that party politics are no longer relevant. Disagree. Socialist organizations are generally better off when organized loosely and decentrally. I mean, the whole purpose organized loosely. There's got to be some kind of no, disagree. Trade unionism has been largely corrupted by the ruling class and is no longer a viable structure for socialist organization. Yeah. Climate change is a major global threat that all socialists must fiercely combat. Yeah. Measures to address environmental issues are unacceptable if they result in insignificant decreases in production and quality of life. Yeah, but think about that one. I'm gonna go neutral. It is foolish to expect renewable energy sources to be able to replace fossil fuels. Strongly disagree. Industrialized farming practices must be abolished, even if it leads to lower outputs. Industrialized farm? I mean, what's... No. Disagree. It will be important to implement extensive environmental protections as part of achieving socialism. So this is all about how to achieve socialism. This isn't even like... It's so weird. Anyway, it will be important to implement extensive environmental protections as part of achieving socialism. It would be important? As part of achieving socialism? Oh. Like I said, man, these questions are weird. Implement extensive environmental protections as part of achieving socialism? I'm a soft agree on that. Experimental, environmentally friendly food sources like cultured meat are worth investing in. I'm sorry if you can hear the dog barking in the background. It's right by the window. Experimental, environmentally friendly food sources like cultured meat are worth investing in. I mean, why wouldn't they be? Personal motor vehicles, such as cars, should be replaced with free public transport. Replaced? No. I don't know. No. It is acceptable for humanity to suffer to some notable extent in order to preserve the natural ecosystem. What are we considering like suffering? See, as an American, it's very difficult for me to understand what suffering is. Some notable extent. I'm gonna soft disagree on that one. I get some hate on that one. Might get some hate for all of this. I don't know. We must radically alter our food consumption in order to limit the exploitation of nature. I don't think food consumption's like the issue. Pretty sure it's like 78% of all global carbon emissions are done by 100 companies. 100 companies make up 78% of all carbon emissions. So I don't know how many of those are food based in, food industry. I'm gonna soft disagree. Human population growth must be curbed to prevent an ecological disaster. First of all, how does one curb it? That's got some authoritarian language in it, so I'm gonna strongly disagree on that one. Some small scale destruction of nature is acceptable if it notably benefits humanity. What are we talking about here? Are we talking about like mining resources? You know, what do you call it? All the green stuff. You know, solar panels, windmills, nuclear power plants, all that stuff. I mean, they all require some kind of resources to build. And you've got to get those resources from somewhere, nature. So, I'm gonna have to agree. Humanity must return to the primitive ways of the past to overcome long-term climate issues. Primitive ways of the past to overcome long-term climate issues. I don't think so. I think innovation and I think technology can help us overcome those long-term climate issues. So I'm gonna strongly disagree. We must accept that the socialist states of the 20th century failed to seriously address environmental issues. I don't know. The oppression of LGBTQ plus people is a major issue that needs to be seriously addressed. Yeah. Traditional gender roles, such as women being homemakers, need to be overcome. Yeah. Marriage is a patriarchal social construct that should be phased out. Patriarchal social construct that should be phased out. I mean, I think people should do whatever they want to do. If they want to live in a patriarchal social construct, it's saying like should that marriage is a patriarchal social construct that should be phased out. I don't even know why I got these headphones on right now. Marriage is a patriarchal social construct that should be phased out. I don't know exactly what they mean by that. I think that it's not necessary. What does it mean? It should be phased out. I don't know. I'm unsure on that one. Abortion is an immoral act that should be banned or significantly limited. I'm gonna get some hate on this one from lefties, but I agree. Humanitarian means you're a humanitarian. So you either are or you aren't. Religions overall have a mostly positive effect and should remain influential in society. Strongly disagree. Most wars caused by religion. Anyway, minority populations should receive special legal protections. Well, special legal protections? What? They should receive legal protection. Special, I mean, everybody should be treated the same. So, receive special legal protections? I don't know what that means. Minority populations should receive special legal protections. I'm just going to generally say agree. A socialist government has no right to disrupt religious or cultural traditions in any situation. Ooh. Has no right to disrupt. A socialist government has no right to disrupt religious or cultural traditions in any situation. I mean, ooh. So people should be left to their religion, to their cultural traditions, and the government shouldn't have any right to disrupt that in any situation, unless I see they get you with these words in any situation. So I'm gonna soft disagree on that. I don't like the framing of some of these. Prisons are oppressive and antiquated institutions that need to be abolished. No, soft disagree on that. Oppressive, obviously. Antiquated, obviously. Need to be abolished? No. What do you do with people that like murder people or rape people? What do you do with those people? Do you let them free? There's no rehabilitation of those types of people. So I don't think so anyway. So I think there needs to be prison reform, obviously, but abolished, no. I'm going to disagree. Policies that enable mass immigration are naive and should not be implemented. Strongly disagree. Immigration's good. It's good for your economy. It's good for a nation. But yep, you cannot achieve a socialist society without also making significant social progress. Ooh. Obviously. Agree. All right, let's see. Okay. So, here's my results. Reformist, revolution 38.2% to 61.8%. Voting reform, political reform. I'm not like violence and revolution. Just let's mark some boxes every time we, do some elections. And yeah. 62.5% scientific, 37.5% utopian. Makes sense. I'm much more of an anarchist than a centralized planned communist government thing. Obvious. Dang. 50-50 on international and national. Sounds about right. Partisan, party, union. That's surprising. I thought would be far more union. I think it has to do with the way that I answered some of those questions. Like I couldn't really, that's way too dictatorial for me. So I'm going to have to review this because I don't like this. I'm way more of a union guy than a party guy. So I'll have to go over that and see Why? I'm neutral on production versus nature. Yep. I'm progressive on between progressive and conservatism. 66.2% progressive. Closest match, centrist Marxism. I don't even know what that is. Centrist Marxism is a form of Marxism that adopts Marxist views on society and the economy while also refraining from taking a definitive position on revolution and reformism. Many centrist Marxists may also be more nationalistic than other Marxists. I like to protect the homeland, but to an extent. Next closest matches. Left-wing nationalism. Jesus. Left-wing nationalism is an ideology that mixes left-wing economics with non-xenophobic nationalism and patriotism. Many left-wing nationalists are simultaneously supportive of international solidarity and may be supportive of armed struggle. Social democracy. Now, this is what I thought I'd be closest to. Social democracy is a center-left ideology that advocates for mixing left-leaning values such as social welfare and corporate regulation with capitalism and liberal democracy in the form of a mixed economy. Many modern social democrats favor Keynesian economics. I don't think I favor Keynesian economics, but yeah. I think this is what I'm really at. 79% democratic socialism. Democratic socialism is a form of socialism that seeks to utilize liberal democracy as a means to achieve a socialist economy and society. Democratic socialists reject revolution and a centrally planned economy, instead supporting moderate social ownership in the form of publicly owned utilities and democratic workplace self-management. Seems good. And we got a huge drop-off. Orthodox Marxism, 60.3%. Orthodox Marxism is a form of Marxism that adopts views that conform to Marxist theory as it was originally written, particularly on the topic of dialectical materialism. Orthodox Marxists are highly revolutionary and internationalist and hold that non-industrial societies are incapable of achieving socialism. Market anarchism. Market anarchism is a form of anarchism that mixes anarchist goals such as the abolition of hierarchy, the state, and capitalism with heightened individualism and a moderate reformist approach. This should not be confused with anarcho-capitalism. Left communism. Left communism is a form of Marxism that leans toward so-called ultra-left positions. These include unconditional support for revolution and internationalism, a rejection of unions and participation in liberal democracy, and a rejection of national liberation and self-determination. Eco-Marxism, 42.7. Eco-Marxism is a form of Orthodox Marxism more commonly found in the modern day that places a particular emphasis on environmental issues. Eco-Marxist generally favors central economic planning as a way of combating climate issues. Yeah, I mean, I do favor more centralized planning when it comes to combating climate issues. But it's more of like investing and giving incentives. Maybe making like Germany did, making any new construction on housing. I think maybe businesses. I know for sure housing, where you have to. I think they like it's built into your mortgage, or the price of the house. The cost of like solar panel, like every new house has to have solar panels. So because of that, Germany's built up quite an energy independent society. Council communism. Council communism is a form of left communism that emerged in Germany and Holland in the early 20th century. Council communists reject participation in liberal democracy, support spontaneous revolutions, and believe in disempowering political parties in favor of the workers' councils. Well, I'm getting lower and lower. Utopian socialism. See, this is the thing that everybody talks about. You just want utopia. You just want utopia. No. Utopian socialism, and it's like utopia is not possible. We can't. No shit. Nobody's trying. Maybe a few people, but not a lot. Utopian socialism is a form of pre-Marxist socialism that believes highly in an egalitarian, moralistic, and idealistic foundation for a socialist society. Utopian socialists generally reject violent revolution and often believe the ruling class can be convinced to adopt socialism. Anarcho-communism. Anarcho-communism is a form of anarchism that advocates for the abolition of capitalism and the state, as well as the collective ownership of the means of production. Anarcho-communists support a decentralized economy and government, with anarcho-syndicalism being a common way of organizing such a society. And eco-anarchism, which I am 0% of, so I'm not even going to read. So, look at that. Well, that was interesting. I'm a centrist Marxist. Left-wing nationalist. I don't like that. I don't like being called a nationalist at all. So I've got to figure out why I fit in that camp. Because I think I'm more closer to social democracy than anything. Of course, it doesn't show. I guess it's just centrist Marxism. I guess it just means like I'm all of these. I'm like in the middle of everything. I don't know. Because it doesn't give me like a percentage. With your closest match as 100% and farthest as 0%. I mean, I'm more of a protectionist kind of. Slightly. I mean, not really though. I don't know. I don't care. I'll have to do this again one day and figure it out. All right, so that's the left values test and my results. If you yourself are a lefty, take the quiz, take the test, whatever, and leave comments. Let me know what you found. I'll put the link in the description below so that you can have easy access to it and take it yourself. Let me know. All right, let's see here. Trying to think of what to do. So this music is going to play, and I'm not going to be able to keep it from playing it. So you'll just have to deal with that for a sec. Let's see. How long have I been going? Lord. Sorry. Why won't you? There he goes. All right. So let's see what's up with the. Let's go to the Twitter worlds. Oh, what is this?
That I'd like to introduce to you.
Hold on.
And I'm grateful to the members of my COVID team that I'd like to introduce to you now, who will lead the way. I'm really proud of this group. For Secretary of Health and Education Service, I nominated Javier Baccaria. Javier Becerra, excuse me. He currently the Attorney General of California, leading the second largest Justice Department in America. And I'm grateful to the members.
Charlie Kirk says, I have a very hard time believing 80+ million people entrusted the future of our nation to this man. I'm sorry. I have a very hard time believing that 74 million people still voted for Trump. and more people voted for him this time than last time. Like, what was he, 66 last time? So it's like an 8 million increase. I mean, come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, Jack. Oh, I saw something about this. So apparently, they're talking about trading water, which is insane. Almost 2/3 of the world could face water shortages in just 4 years. From Bloomberg. That's not good. Begin trading amid fear of scarcity. That's just insane. That people are going to trade. They're going to start trading water. What? Now, there was something I wanted to talk about, but maybe I'll hold that off for my conversation tonight. I kind of just wanted to do that test, and I said I was going to talk about other stuff. One thing I did want to talk about. Let's see. Let's look up some COVID news. All right. So the U.S. Whoa. I didn't know we had surpassed 280,000 deaths. That's crazy. One thing that, let me see, it's going to play this stupid music. Maybe not. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, I know why. So, I keep having arguments with people about wearing mask. I don't know why I'm still having these arguments with people. It doesn't make any sense to me. It just seems like people don't know what they're talking about. And too many people try to point to some area saying, well, they have mask mandates. It's not working there. It's like, yeah, well, what else is going on there? Are people actually following the mandates? Because if you look at the places around the country that have actual mask mandates, I mean, who was it? Bill Nye, the science guy, whatever. He had this little binder, and it had a map, and he flipped over the map. It says, like, increase in cases, folded it over, and it's like a match for where non-mask mandated counties are in the U.S. And that's where, like, you see the highest increases in cases. I'm not sure about masks working in tandem with lockdowns. I'm not certain that lockdowns have to be, like, that would be something that has to be done almost nationally for like 3 weeks to a month for it to, like, actually work, and people would have to actually stay home, and they would have to be paid to stay home. And some countries did this. I don't think it's even a possibility in the U.S. So, but one thing for sure is mask. I just don't understand why. So some people want to say, it's their freedom to not wear a mask, and I'm like, well, I mean, sure, but what's the point? Why don't you want to help your fellow Americans? Why don't you want to help people? Why don't we want to tackle this virus? Oh, it's about control. They're trying to see how far they can go to control you. All right. Let's stop taking the so-called red pill. Let's take some blue pill, okay? And I don't know. I wasn't prepared to just go on about this. It really shouldn't matter, streaming and all. But it's, and I always have points. It's mostly because I'm not looking at something that I can just directly go after. So maybe I'll just do that. Maybe I'll just click on something and directly go after it. But this is 15.1 million cases in the U.S., 285,000 deaths. I did see something the other day about someone saying, well, they attribute every death to COVID now. It's just like, that's just not true. It's just not true at all. Is there someone in here? Hello? I don't know. I wish I had a chat. Chats are cool. But, I guess I'm just gonna go ahead and end this for now. That test kind of took a little bit out of me. So I do plan on streaming later tonight at 8 o'clock with my brother again. I'm trying to figure out a name because it's like we're going to be doing like a Tuesday, like every Tuesday thing, or like a weekly thing. And, I was thinking about calling it like Tuesdays. 2 days. 2 days, Tuesdays. It's a little bit of a mouthful. Sorry, I can't stop looking over at myself on the camera, on the screen, instead of looking at you like I should be. But yeah, I'm glad I got a webcam too. That's pretty cool. I won't have to hook it up to my phone. And but yeah, I don't know, guys. See, this is why I understand why people have chats when they stream now. So people can actually like talk and bring things up, and you can be like, "Oh yeah, blah blah blah," give like your opinion on it. Which is why I love having my brother on, and I hopefully should be having a couple friends on at some point also. So that'll be fun, and it's just I personally do a lot better riffing off of other people, as I'm sure most people do. Especially if I don't have a planned video, just at least somewhat partially written or partially scripted, just like having something to go off of. But yeah, I'm not sure how long I've been going on this. You know what? I'm just going to take a break. I'm going to take a break. And I'm gonna keep the stream up, but I'm gonna take a break, and I'm gonna try to think of something else, because I had something else, but this is why my memory's garbage. I've got to start writing stuff down before I start these things. But yeah, so let's just I'm gonna take a quick break, and we will go from there. So I will see you shortly. All right. All right. Here we go. Back. I'm back, baby. All right. Let's turn this music down. All right, let's turn that off. Let's get right back to it. Okay, I did think of something that I wanted to touch on today, and that was the new vaccines. Or actually, it was a story about how the U.S. government, Trump's administration, apparently. Sorry, I don't know. This thing like keeps falling on me, and I've got to get a new one or something. Got to get a new mic stand. All right, that's not really what I was looking for, but it'll be okay. So, stories been going around about how the Trump administration denied an extra 100,000 doses of the Pfizer vaccine. So with this vaccine, you have to get 2 of them for it to be effective. So 100, or it was 100 million. Sorry, my bad. 100 million vaccines would only vaccinate 50 million people. Obviously, that's a sixth of the U.S. population, 6th, 7th, somewhere in there. Whereas, 200 million vaccines would be for 100 million people, almost a third of the population, U.S. population. So, there's a story that's been going around. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Pfizer vaccine offers strong protection after first dose. That's good. Here we go. This is NBC News here. Trump administration passed up chance to lock in more Pfizer vaccine doses. Oh my God, leave me alone. Go away. Ugh. Trump administration passed up chance to lock in more Pfizer vaccine doses. The White House reportedly declined multiple offers from Pfizer to strike a deal on more vaccines for the second quarter of 2021. Now, hey Trump. I wanted to bring this up because I've heard, let me get rid of this, that now I want to know the time period. So I'm going to read this article by NBC News and see how biased they are. Well, we know how biased they are. They are biased towards the corporate Democrats. That's what they're biased towards. So with that said, let's see. A former commissioner of the FDA and a member of Pfizer's board of directors said Tuesday that President Donald Trump's administration declined to secure millions of additional doses of Pfizer and BioNTech's coronavirus vaccine when it had the chance. Dr. Scott Gottlieb told CNBC that the White House declined multiple offers from Pfizer to strike a deal on more vaccines for the second quarter of 2021. Gottlieb's statements came after the New York Times and the Associated Press reported that the Trump administration months ago did not lock in the chance to purchase millions of additional doses of Pfizer's vaccine, which has shown to be highly effective against COVID-19. That decision could delay the delivery of a second batch of doses until Pfizer fulfills other international contracts. Quote, Pfizer has gone ahead and entered into agreement with other countries to sell them some of that vaccine in the second quarter of 2021, Gottlieb told CNBC. The revelation comes as Trump's plans to host a White House summit aimed at celebrating the expected approval of the first vaccine later this week. His administration is seeking to tamp down public skepticism over the vaccine and secure a key component of the Republican president's legacy. The focus was to be on the administration's plans to distribute and administer the vaccine, but officials from President-elect Joe Biden's transition team, which will oversee the bulk of the largest vaccination program in the nation's history once he takes office January 20th, were not invited. Pfizer's vaccine is expected to be endorsed by a panel of FDA advisors as soon as this week, with delivery of 100 million doses, enough for 50 million Americans, expected in coming months. So, here's the thing. Months ago, I think it was in August, when we decided, or that the Trump administration decided that it wasn't going to take, wasn't going to sign a contract for an extra, I think it was another 100 million doses. The reason for that is understandable if it's the reason that I believe it is. That reason being that at the time, we had no idea how effective Pfizer's vaccine was going to be. We now know that it's 95% effective. So now we want more of it, obviously. But this is something that obviously the corporate left, if you want to call them left media, because I don't consider them that, but you know, a lot of people don't trust them, but for good reason. But it seems like they are trying to attack Trump for this action, for inaction. So under its contract, so let me keep going. Under its contract with Pfizer, the Trump administration committed to buy an additional 100 million doses with an option to purchase as many as 5 times more. But this summer, the White House opted not to lock in an additional 100 million doses for delivery in the second quarter of 2021, according to people who spoke on condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to discuss it publicly. In a statement, Pfizer confirmed the White House's initial order but declined to comment on any confidential discussions that may be taking place with the U.S. government. The company did state, however, that additional doses beyond the 100 million already earmarked for the U.S. will be subject to separate agreements. Recognizing the urgency of the need, our manufacturing teams have been working around the clock so we can bring the vaccine to the world as quickly, efficiently, and equitably as possible, Pfizer said in the statement. Dr. Monchef, is that how you say that name? Monchef Slaoui, who is leading the government's vaccine effort, noted the Trump administration was looking at a number of different vaccines during the summer. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, we knew that there was going to be like, you've got Moderna, you've got Pfizer, you've got Oxford, Johnson & Johnson, you've got 5-6 plus companies working on a vaccine. So why would we make a commitment so early a few months ago when we didn't know how other vaccines would turn out or how effective they would be? So, I can't blame the Trump administration for not committing to an extra 100 million doses. There was no reason to commit, so why do it? That's about it. So, but now that we know, hopefully, let's see. Let's just continue this real quick. Brett Gourroy, the Assistant Secretary for Health Administration, told CBS this morning that the U.S. expects to be able to vaccinate about 20 million people this month, 20 million to 25 million in January, and another 20 million to 25 million in February with the Pfizer vaccine and another vaccine from drug maker Moderna, assuming both receive FDA emergency authorization. All right, that's the end of the article. So let's add that up. Let's see. 20 million people this month, 20 to 25 million, so 40 to 45 million in January, and another 20 million, so that's 60 to 65 million up to, so wait, that's like 70 million, up to 70 million doses, almost a third of the country. Oh, wait. People, so that's not doses, that's people. So yeah, almost a third of the country by the end of February. It's not bad. So it's looking like the time scale we might get back to normal. I'm hoping sometime between April and July. That'd be fantastic. Would love for that to happen. I'm sure everybody would love for that to happen. So here's the hoping. Yeah, so I definitely wanted to talk about that. It's a good thing. We got vaccines rolling out. As a matter of fact, let's see if I can not explore. How do I find the trending? What's the trending on the what's happening? I'm trying to think of how do you find trending on the computer. Here's why vaccinated people still need to wear a mask. I'm interested in that, so let's look at this. This again is by the New York Times. Let's see if I get hit with some kind of. I think they're doing all COVID related stuff free, so yeah, so I don't have to have a subscription. This is by Apurva Mandavili. I don't know. The new COVID-19 vaccines. She goes on this article to say, by the New York Times, the new COVID-19 vaccines from Pfizer and Moderna seem to be remarkably good at preventing serious illness, but it's unclear how well they will curb the spread of the coronavirus. That's because the Pfizer and Moderna trials tracked only how many vaccinated people became sick with COVID-19. That leaves open the possibility that some vaccinated people get infected without developing symptoms and could then silently transmit the virus, especially if they come in close contact with others or stop wearing masks. If vaccinated people are silent spreaders of the virus, they may keep it circulating in their communities, putting unvaccinated people at risk. So when I said go back to normal, I guess that means just like, sorry, I guess that means going back to like restaurants, movie theaters, all that stuff. But you still gotta wear a mask, at least for a little while. Speaking of masks, I think I saw something about Joe Biden is going to ask for the American people to do a 100-day mask wearing campaign. And he's going to contact governors and try to get them to push it and all that. Obviously, that's not going to work because people are crazy in this country and they don't care. I think it's about individual freedom and liberty and stuff like that. It's like, okay, that's cool. Someone can go out and drive drunk, but there's still laws against driving drunk. They still have set up roadblocks for people because they're driving drunk and putting other people at risk. It's a public health issue. And the thing is, it's only temporary. It's temporary. And it would have been even more temporary had people been on it from the jump. But I digress. Quote, a lot of people are thinking that once they get vaccinated, they're not going to have to wear a mask anymore, said Michael Tal, an immunologist at Stanford University. Some of these people that I've been reading today have some really weird names. But anyway, it's really going to be critical for them to know if they have to keep wearing masks because they could still be contagious. End of quote. In most respiratory infections, including the new coronavirus, the nose is the main port of entry. Oh, so all those people wearing the mask, like, wearing the mask like this, it's kind of pointless. You're not doing anything. The virus rapidly multiplies there, jolting the immune system to produce a type of antibodies that are specific to mucosa, the moist tissue lining the nose, mouth, lungs, and stomach. If the same person is exposed to the virus a second time, those antibodies, as well as immune cells that remember the virus, rapidly shut down the virus in the nose before it gets a chance to take hold elsewhere in the body. The coronavirus vaccines, in contrast, are injected deep into the muscles and quickly absorbed into the blood, where they stimulate the immune system to produce antibodies. This appears to be enough protection to keep the vaccinated person from getting ill. I've even heard that, like, with this vaccine, I believe it's like an mRNA vaccine, which means they can actually get it into your genetic code without having to experience any symptoms from the virus. Maybe. I'm not certain of that. Maybe we should look that up. We'll look that up in a sec. Maybe it'll say it in this article here. I don't know what. Some of those antibodies will circulate to the nasal mucosa and stand guard there, but it's not clear how much of the antibody pool can be mobilized or how quickly. If the answer is not much, then viruses could bloom in the nose and be sneezed or breathed out to infect others. It's a race. It depends whether the virus can replicate faster or the immune system can control it faster, said Marion Pepper, an immunologist at the University of Washington in Seattle. It's a really important question. This is why mucosal vaccines, like the nasal spray flu mist or the oral polio vaccine, are better than intramuscular injections at feeding off respiratory viruses, experts said. The next generation of coronavirus vaccines may elicit immunity in the nose and the rest of the respiratory tract, where it's most needed. Or people could get an intramuscular injection followed by a mucosal boost that produces protective antibodies in the nose and throat. I don't like this picture. I don't like that picture at all. The coronavirus vaccines have proved to be powerful shields against severe illness, but that is no guarantee of their efficacy in the nose. The lungs, the site of severe symptoms, are much more accessible to the circulating antibodies in the nose or throat, making them easier to safeguard. Preventing severe disease is easiest. Okay, I'm done with that one. So, obviously, Trump passed up. So this is a hit piece on Trump. I don't understand why they're even doing that. Like, first of all, he lost the election. There's no reason to keep hitting, like, just, keep attacking him with fake news. But, or at least, it's not fake news, but it's definitely framed news. It's framed to make him look bad. Which, anybody that knows me knows that I'm not a Trump supporter. But, call it like I see it. Would you call it symptoms? Side effects. That's what I meant. The FDA, this is by CNBC, the FDA says Pfizer's COVID vaccine. Oh my God, go away. Why? The FDA says Pfizer's COVID vaccine is safe and effective, but trial participants warn of intense symptoms after second shot. Trial participants. The Pfizer BioNTech coronavirus vaccine is both safe and effective, according to the U.S. FDA. In a report released Tuesday morning, the FDA indicated that it could greenlight the country's first COVID-19 inoculation within days. Oh my God, go away. If Pfizer's shot is granted an emergency use authorization, or EUA, the immunizations, which are administered in 2 doses about 3 weeks apart, could start as soon as next week. Many people are now wondering whether this will be just like getting the flu vaccine. The short answer is no, not really. One Pfizer trial participant told CNBC that after the second shot, he woke up with chills, shaking so hard he cracked a tooth. It hurt to even just lay in my bed sheet. Ooh, he said. Others experienced headaches and fatigue. The FDA said that while side effects of the Pfizer vaccine are common, there are no specific safety concerns identified that would preclude issuance of an EUA. Okay. Be prepared for the second shot. The Pfizer vaccine is one of 4 U.S.-backed candidates in Phase 3 trials. Next up is one from U.S. biotech firm Moderna, which has also submitted its EUA application. EUA, that's such a weird combination of letters to say. I don't know why, but it is. Both companies have said that taking their vaccines could result in side effects similar to mild COVID symptoms. Think muscle pain, chills, and a headache. When trial participant Yasir Batalvi first read Moderna's 22-page consent form warning of side effects ranging from nothing at all to death, he felt pretty worried, he told CNBC. Yeah, I mean, you're in the trials, bro. That's what happens when you're in the trials. Let's see. You have to keep in mind, I joined the trial when we didn't know it was going to be a safe vaccine, said Batalvi, a recent college graduate living in Boston. The 24-year-old said that when he got the first injection in mid-October, it felt just like a flu shot. Hold on. Hello? You? I experienced stiffness and pain in my left arm where I had gotten a shot, but it was mild, he explained. By that evening, I didn't want to move my arm above my shoulder, but it was localized and it disappeared by the next day. The second dose was a different story. After the injection, I had the same side effects as the first, localized pain and stiffness, but it was a little bit worse. My arm got sore faster, and by the time I got home, I started feeling fatigued and like anyone would feel if they were coming down with the flu. More significant symptoms presented that evening. I developed a low-grade fever and had chills, he said. That evening was rough. After a restless night, he called the study doctors, who reassured him it was a normal reaction and no cause for concern. By that afternoon, Batalvi said he felt like himself again. Moderna stopped testing the highest dose of its vaccine during the trial because of the number of reports of severe adverse reactions. As for any long-term effects, Batalvi isn't giving it much thought. I'm not too concerned, he said. We know from vaccination trials that any adverse events mostly show up in the first couple of months. How an mRNA vaccine works. Frontrunners Pfizer and Moderna built their candidates with a new kind of technology that's never before been licensed in the U.S. Messenger RNA vaccines, called mRNA for short, aren't like your normal flu vaccine. Typically, a vaccine puts a weakened or inactivated virus into our bodies to trigger an immune response, which then produces antibodies. Those antibodies are what ultimately protect us from getting infected if we ever encounter the real thing. An mRNA vaccine, on the other hand, is essentially just a piece of genetic code that contains instructions for our body. The mRNA tells our cells to make a protein, the same protein that is the spike on top of the actual coronavirus. That is what triggers the immune response in these types of vaccines. So even though some trial participants reported COVID-like symptoms, it is impossible to contract the coronavirus from the vaccine because the mRNA vaccines that Pfizer and Moderna are making don't use the live virus. Key words right there. Let's see. Impossible to contract the coronavirus from the vaccine. So I clicked towards that. That's from the CDC. Dr. Hana El Salih, who oversees a clinical trial for Moderna's vaccine candidate, said one major benefit of the mRNA technology is how fast it is to make. The attractiveness of it is the speed with which it can be manufactured once we know the sequence of the virus, said El Salih. With the traditional flu vaccine, you have to first grow the virus in an egg, then deactivate the virus, and finally put it into vaccine vials with either mRNA or recombinant DNA technology. The COVID vaccine's faster manufacturing timeline is key as distributors look to expedite distribution to the U.S. population. Paying for the vaccine. All right, so let's see. Facts about COVID-19 vaccines. Fact. COVID-19 vaccines will not give you COVID-19. I've been saying this. I don't know why people don't listen. Like, I've heard it gets you sick. I mean, you're having your body is giving an immune response because it just built something new in its immunity. So it's giving an immune response. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm not afraid. I don't know why some people are afraid, but I'm gonna get it. I don't want to have to worry about it anymore. COVID-19 vaccines will not cause you to test positive on COVID-19 viral test. People who have gotten sick with COVID-19 may still benefit from getting vaccinated. Well, why wouldn't they? Why my arm cut off? I thought that wasn't a thing. Hold on. Let me check something real quick. That's better. Okay. Where was I? Getting vaccinated can help prevent getting sick with COVID-19. Receiving an mRNA vaccine will not alter your DNA. Okay. So, you are either one of those people like me that believes in science, or you're one of those people like QAnon people that think that Bill Gates is here to sterilize you and everybody else to lower the population. I mean, maybe that could be the case. I don't know. Do you? I don't know. No vaccine has ever depopulated the earth before. If anything, it's helped us populate the earth. So, because people get to live longer. You know? Yeah. So that's some interesting COVID vaccine facts. So that's pretty cool. I wanted to find. Let's just see. Trending. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Texas AG sues over election results in 4 battleground states. They're just never going to stop. I mean, why would they? They're making money still, so. But Jesus. I'm trying. It was like one of the top stories, and now it's just like gone. God, I can't type today. Here it is. This is from Time.
I'm just going to give you the injection now. Okay. I just need you to confirm that you consent to this vaccination.
Yeah.
So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to put it in your left arm.
Yeah.
Is that all
Shall I
right?
take this off?
No, it's just going to do it back this way. Is that all right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Move out of the way from it.
Thank you, Doctor.
And then relax your arm for me.
Yes.
So this is like the first.
Just going to be squeezing your arm, okay?
A group of British citizens became the first patients to receive Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine on Tuesday. And this lady is the first one of that group. I believe she's like 9 or 80 years old. That's the first dose. Wait till the second dose. This is gonna be like, I'm too old. Sorry, shouldn't make fun of old people. No, I actually haven't read up on this at all, but it's probably just more garbage. Texas Tribune. Wait. Why can't I just click? Here we go. And new lawsuit, Texas contest election results in Georgia, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Texas AG Ken Paxton is asking the U.S. Supreme Court to block the battleground states from casting unlawful and constitutionally tainted votes. What in the world does constitutionally tainted means? That they're tainted with the with constitutionality? Okay, whatever. Unconstitutionally tainted? Is that what he meant? In the Electoral College, whatever. There is no evidence of widespread voter fraud, experts say. Yep. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is suing 4 battleground states, Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, whose election results handed the White House to President-elect Joe Biden. In the suit, he claims that pandemic-era changes to election procedures in those states violated federal law and asked the U.S. Supreme Court to block the states from voting in the Electoral College. So, he's asking for states for the Supreme Court to unconstitutionally block votes. The last-minute bid, which legal experts have already characterized as a long shot, comes alongside dozens of similar attempts by President Donald Trump and his political allies. The majority of those lawsuits have already failed. I think he's like 1 for like 40 something now. There is no evidence of widespread fraud in the 2020 election. Officials in most states and U.S. Attorney General Bill Barr have said, even Bill Barr, Trump's main guy, even he says it's a load. He didn't say it's a load, but he said there's no evidence of widespread. And a lot of people are trying to point this out. Oh, he said widespread voter fraud. He didn't say no voter fraud, just widespread. Still. See, I gotta remember. I keep wanting to look at myself instead of look at you when I do stuff, but I guess that comes with time. Biden won in all 4 states where Paxton is challenging the results. It's funny how they only challenged results in the states that they lost in. It's really weird to me. It doesn't really make a whole lot. So there's just all this widespread voter fraud. But the Democrats committed such fraud in a manner, like I guess you would say that it was like such terrible voter fraud that they lost seats in the House, and they may not have taken control of the Senate. We'll find that out soon. Which, by the way, Kelly Loeffler is a sociopath. And she said in her debate the other night with Reverend Warnock, basically said the same 3 or 4 responses over and over and over again. Just the socialists, the radical liberals, socialists, communists are out to get you. They're coming for everything. They're coming for your guns. They're coming for your grandma. They're coming for your socks. They're coming for your shoes, your clothes. They're coming for everything. They're gonna come and take it all from you. They're gonna take away your favorite coin or something. You're gonna take all your bobbleheads. I don't know. It's it's ridiculous. Fuck me. In a filing to the High Court Tuesday, Paxton claims that the 4 battleground states broke the law by instituting pandemic-related changes to election policies, whether through executive fiat or friendly lawsuits, thereby weakening ballot integrity. Just not true. Paxton claimed that these changes allowed for voter fraud to occur, a conclusion experts and election officials have rejected, because it's not true, and said the court should push back a December 14 deadline by which states must appoint their presidential electors. Quote, that deadline, however, should not cement a potentially illegitimate election result in the middle of this storm, attorneys for Texas wrote. Officials in Georgia, where Donald Trump has lost 3 times now, officials in Georgia, with Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger recertified the state's election results again Monday after a recount. And I believe it was like the 3rd recount, but I don't know. We're quick to dismiss Paxton's allegations, as were leaders in the other 3 states named in the lawsuit. I've heard that some people, some like Trump people, are just going to boycott the Senate runoff elections, which would be fantastic for Democrats. So I'm not sure how much truth there is to that, if they're actually going to do that or not, but we'll see. The allegations in the lawsuit are false and irresponsible, Georgia's Deputy Secretary of State Jordan Futches said in a statement Tuesday. Quote, Texas alleges that there are 80,000 forged signatures on absentee ballots in Georgia, but they don't bring forward a single person who this happened to. That's because it didn't happen. Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel dismissed Paxton's lawsuit as a, quote, publicity stunt, not a serious legal pleading. True. Mr. Paxton's actions are beneath the dignity of the office of Attorney General and the people of the great state of Texas, she said. Woo. Shots fired. Paxton and Trump are political allies whose interests often line up in court, as with Texas's challenge to the Affordable Care Act. Paxton, in public appearances, often characterizes their relationship as a friendly one, sharing the story of the time the president called while Paxton was in the shower. What? Paxton, who has been under indictment, since 2015 for felony securities fraud charges. Well, that's ironic. Is facing fresh criminal allegations from 8 of his top deputies who said they believe he broke the law by using the agency to do favors for a political donor. The FBI is investigating Paxton over those claims, according to the AP, Associated Press. Paxton has denied wrongdoing. Notably, Paxton himself is listed as the agency's lead attorney on the case, a highly unusual role for the state's official, who barely plays a hands-on role even in the state's major cases. Paxton's new chief deputy, Brent Webster, signed onto the filing, but conspicuously absent is the agency's top lawyer for appellate concerned with or dealing with applications for decisions to be reversed. Okay. Appellate work. Solicitor General Kyle Hawkins, who technically argues the state's cases before the Supreme Court and did so as recently as last month. None of Hawkins' deputies is listed as contributing to the case, nor are any of the agency's hundreds of other attorneys. The agency instead appears to have hired an outside attorney, Lawrence Joseph, to contribute to the case. The agency did not answer questions about its staffing choices for the lawsuit, nor did Hawkins himself. Governor Greg Abbott, a former Texas Attorney General, signaled support for the lawsuit, telling reporters the case, quote, tries to accelerate the process, providing certainty and clarity about the entire election process. The United States of America needs that. I mean, people can, if they need it, they can find it. The problem is people, like, even when they're told the truth, even when they're given the facts, and when I say people, I mean Trump supporters, when they're given the facts, they don't listen. They don't care. Their guy won. It doesn't matter what happened on election night. It doesn't matter what the votes say. It doesn't matter what the courts say. It doesn't matter how many affidavits don't get filed in actual court or don't get taken to actual court because the people don't want to fill out these affidavits, don't want to perjure themselves. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many lawsuits can be lost. 1 for 40, whatever now. It doesn't matter. They just know. They just know. They just know because of all the rallies. All the rallies. When you see all the people at the rallies, you know, and Joe Biden just had hardly nobody at his rallies, you know, because he's a responsible adult that takes COVID-19 and the pandemic seriously and won't allow a ton of people, maskless people, at his events, which is why he had few people at his events and he socially distanced them and made them wear masks. Despite that, people, it's just, you know, they create their own narratives. And it is just all too often. I keep seeing, especially on Facebook. Oh, Facebook is the worst. Facebook, Twitter, probably the worst. I just, you know, I keep seeing people just not believing what they see. What in the world? Oh, whoops. That's why I had that cut off. It's funny. Anyway, that's an epic fail. But it happens. I can't remember everything. But anyway, actually, I think my camera shifted. Now that I'm looking at it, I was in the middle, or maybe no, huh? It's weird. Beard's weird. I've got some gray in my beard now. Just turned 33. Getting old. But yeah, you know, they talk about these rallies and they're just like, yeah, I'm certain there was fraud because just look at the rallies. So many people like Trump. Look, dude, like, what, 8 million more people voted for Trump than in the last election? Do you think he actually gained that many votes? Or do you think more people were able to vote through mail-in voting? Definitely think it's the latter. Which also means that Democrats could do the same. And they would increase their turnout because of mail-in voting. And they're already, before the pandemic, more likely to vote by mail. Disproportionately. So it's no surprise that the Democratic Party, with Hillary Clinton, that won the popular vote by almost, 3 million votes? It's no surprise that Joe Biden, a much more popular candidate than Hillary Clinton, a much less hated candidate than Hillary Clinton, would get more than 3 million votes. And no surprise, with mail-in voting, he's up to 8 million, I believe now, is the difference between Biden and Trump. Like, it's not that hard to comprehend. When you consider, you know, the pandemic and all the civil unrest that we've had this year, a lot of it probably due to the pandemic, but a lot of it due to issues that have been going on for years. I mean, Black Lives Matter was created under Barack Obama, not Donald Trump. So, or it started under Barack Obama. So it's just like, people just they don't care, they don't think, they're in a little bubble, and that's all people care about. They care about being in their little bubble, and I see it all the time because, you know, I'm not in a little bubble. Hell, I'll probably see more tweets on Twitter that piss me off because I follow probably more right-leaning people than I do left-leaning people. I don't know why, but I guess so I can keep my enemies close. Let me try to adjust this a little bit. There we go. Now more. A little more centered there. That's better. Back to normal. So yeah, it just blows my mind. I've got to read. I've got to go to this Facebook group here. I'm not going to give you the name of the group or anything, but what is going on? But I just want to go to the group so I can see what people are posting, because this is where I get most contentious outside of Twitter. That's funny. Somebody posted a meme. It's Bart Simpson. Let's see if I can. I don't want to show too much. Let's block this off. Here we go. Look at this. You picked a former Raytheon board member for defense secretary. Biden. Yes, but a black one. Lord. I feel like that's the case for a lot of this, for a lot of these picks. He's so progressive. So progressive because he's picking minorities and black people to head positions, but even though those people aren't like progressive themselves. But I mean, you know, it is progress. They aren't white men. Maybe that helps change some perspectives. Maybe that helps. Maybe more minorities and or women and whoever want to get into politics because of that, because they can see it can be done. So I mean, there could be some positive to it as well. Try to see. I have no idea. But yeah, so I think I've gone on close to an extra hour here. Maybe I'll just go ahead and end the stream here for now, and then I'll see everybody back at 8 o'clock. A little over 2.5 hours. So until then, I'm gonna take something from a local sports commentator named Gary Parrish. I'm just going to use his sign off this one time. So don't get mad at me, Gary. But I just want people to hear your awesome sign off. Be careful. Be kind. Be good. Rep your hood. Thanks.